Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I am trying out my old microphone. I saw a video of me, I don't know, from way back using this, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. This one's a little bit harder to deal with, and so I just put it in my drawer and kind of forgot about it, but I want to try it again because I kind of like being able to move around. It just sometimes feels like it's touching my face, and I don't like that. So, anyway, thanks for being here today. 2 weeks ago, we started talking about the book Anxious Kids, Anxious Parents. And I have decided to help out parents by having a book study on this. So if you would like to be in a group with me in live on Zoom, where we talk about the concepts in the book and you can ask me questions about what to do as a parent, I am inviting you to sign up. I'll put a link in any show notes and on my social media so that you can sign up to be in my parent book study support group. I think it would be a great resource. Since I work with just teens, I always feel bad that parents don't have as much support from me as their teen or child does. So I want to be able to offer something that not only for you to get to know me better, but just to be helpful. So I'm excited about that. So look for information about that. The concepts that I'm talking about over the next several, well, it might be a couple months actually, because I have so many guests to sprinkle in there that by the time we get done with some of these episodes, it'll probably be a couple months. But the things that I'm talking about come from this book and they're just so good. And I want to make sure that you know about them. So this week we're going to be talking to our worry. And I love that so much because I was already teaching that and my clients have had a lot of success with it, but I loved seeing it in this book because it is very helpful and it's something that I taught students when I was still in the school system and then along with my clients as well in my Anxiety Maze Navigator program. So the first puzzle piece kind of from the book was 2 weeks ago when we talked about expecting to worry. Of course we're going to worry because everyone worries about things, especially when we're doing new things or transitioning into something. But this week we're going to talk about talking to that worry. And what I wanted you to be careful about is that when you expect to worry, like, of course I'm going to worry, everyone worries. I don't want you to get into the thinking that there's nothing I can do about it. So yes, worry is everywhere. Everyone has it. Oh no, now I can't do anything about it. No, I don't want you to think that. I want you to think, okay, yeah, everyone has it and I can learn to manage and control it because anxiety is the easiest mental health condition to learn skills to deal with. So we're going to learn to manage that anxiety that of course we all have. So we need to put worry outside of ourselves so that we can learn to try to control it or manage it. And because worry happens a lot in our heads and also in our bodies, those physical sensations that are so uncomfortable that we don't like, it's really hard to remove ourselves from it. It just feels like it's so much who we are or what, like we don't have control over it. And we don't have control over physical symptoms that our body creates necessarily, but we can learn ways to calm those physical symptoms that we're having and calm those thoughts that we're having that keep that cycle going so that we can feel more calm and more at peace when things are going on. So I used to have my clients imagine their worry as a person or a cartoon character. So they could pick a person that they really knew. They could pick a person that they just imagined. They could pick a person from a TV show. They could pick a cartoon character that they knew, just anything. They could make up a cartoon character. I have a lot of artist students and clients, and they just made up a person or a persona. And so my daughter always said that it wasn't just her anxiety, but like just the voice in her head. So she had anxiety, so we can use this as an example. But she said the voice in her head was always a British older man, or maybe an old man. I can't remember if she said older or old, but a British man with a pipe. And so, of course, you could imagine that accent, and he's just sitting there telling her about things. And so, if you could imagine your worry as a person or as a character, what would it look like? What would you name it? And be careful not to make this some sort of monster, demon, or devil. I don't want to make anxiety this enemy that we're fighting, because we're not fighting anxiety, because that makes it worse. We may not be completely friendly with anxiety, but we need to look at it as someone we could be friendly with. So, just for example, my anxiety, I always picture it as Mrs. Crawley from Downton Abbey. Now, a lot of you probably don't watch Downton Abbey, but if you did, you know who Mrs. Crawley is. She was really kind of my favorite character in a way, because I loved how snooty and judgy she was, even though it was also annoying, because it was like, ugh, that lady. And so I think that's perfect for my anxiety, because I can be friendly with Mrs. Crawley, but I would also be like sort of rolling my eyes about some of the things that she said or thought people should be doing. And so you could certainly think about your anxiety as a judgy, opinionated person, because that is kind of what anxiety is. Anxiety is always trying to keep us safe. And so anxiety is always telling us all the bad things that could happen, because anxiety wants us to not do things that would be too harmful to us. Now, anxiety gets confused about that, because then sometimes anxiety says school is too dangerous, or doing anything new, or leaving our house is too dangerous, or getting in an elevator is too dangerous, or learning to drive a car is too dangerous. And we know that that's not true. So then we have to train anxiety to not, I'm going to fix this while I'm talking, hopefully. We need to train anxiety to not be alerting us to danger when we're doing normal things like school and doing new things and driving and going in a tunnel and going in an elevator and swimming, or whatever it is that you don't want to do, because anxiety is telling you that it's too dangerous. Personifying or making our anxiety a character or person isn't just for kids. I had a client one time when I was like first starting out. I was taking clients of any age, needing any kind of help, because I just wanted practice coaching and trying out new techniques and ideas. And I had a client who was, I think she was 59. And so older than me, though. I'll be 56 soon. But she was 59, and she was newly on her own. She had gotten divorced, and she was living by herself, and she wanted to meet new people, and she wanted to do new things, but she was afraid of it. And she was going to like these meetups where she could meet new people, because that's what she wanted to do. But then she would sit outside of them and sometimes just go home, because she would get too much in her head about, oh, they won't like me, they won't talk to me, maybe they'll make fun of me. I don't know, whatever the things were that her brain was telling her about not meeting these new people. And so I told her this idea of, well, just talk to your anxiety and talk to it like it's a friend and bring it along with you. So she was telling me that on one of these meetups, as she was driving there, she just imagined that anxiety was in the passenger seat. And she was like, I know that you're worried about this, but we're going to go to this anyway. And it's totally fine. And of course, not everyone's going to like us, and they don't have to. We're going to meet a couple people that do. In a group of people, there's got to be somebody that will like me, and it's fine. And I'm going to do this because it's good for me, and I need to meet new people. And she said it was so freeing for her, and she could go into that event because she kind of made it like a joke or funny or friendly or whatever. And then her anxiety just came along with her, and she went through and she made friends, and she was doing new things, and she was so excited about it. So it doesn't matter how old you are. Parents, if you're struggling with anxiety, you can do this personifying, making your anxiety a character, and certainly be teaching it to your kids. And you can teach this to little kids. Like, my clients aren't elementary age, but I have grandchildren who are little, and I'm certainly going to talk to them about this concept of making their anxiety just like a fun character, and how can they talk to it in a way that will help them. And of course, while we're teaching this, we have to model it ourselves. So as a parent or a mentor or counselor or whatever you are to children or teens, talk out loud to your own anxiety around them so that they can see how this works. Or if they're anxious, talk to their anxiety like it's a different person so they can see how it works. So here's a couple of ways that you can talk to anxiety. One is, again, like going back to 2 weeks ago when we talked about, of course, you're going to be anxious. Everyone gets anxious. We're going to talk to our anxiety as we're expecting it. Of course, anxiety, you're here on the first day of school. I knew you were going to try to keep me safe, but I've got this. I don't need your help today. Or you could even say, hi, worry. Thanks for coming with me on the bus to school today. Come on in and help me handle the whole day. Just be there. Notice that there's nothing to be worried about as you're along with me today. And tomorrow will feel better because you'll see that there wasn't anything that was life endangering here at school today. Or, on my driving test. Come on, anxiety, come on with me to my driving test. It's okay. It's so normal for you to be here while I'm doing this new driving, but that's okay. You're going to see that I totally can handle this. I know how to deal with the flutters in my stomach and the tension in my shoulders as I'm driving in this test, and it's going to be fine. You can also look at anxiety like you're taking care of it, because think about it. When we have worried thoughts, our anxiety is just a scared part of us, like maybe a scared, smaller, younger version of ourselves. And we wouldn't be mean to a younger child who is scared of something because we realize that, well, this is new for them and they're afraid of it. And so let's talk to our worry as that character, maybe in a smaller, younger version of it. I know you're uncertain about what's going to happen today at school or on this trip, or when I ask this person out for a date, or when I learn to go to this new class where I'm going to learn a new thing. We've never done this before. So, of course, you want to keep me safe and cause me, you don't want me to do something that I might fail at, or I might not have the same experience that I want to, but I'm going to be fine. It's okay. I can handle whatever happens today. And you can also boss anxiety around. I just want you to be careful about bossing it around, because if you remember some episodes back, when you're angry or fighting or trying to slam the door on anxiety because you're bossing it around, that's going to actually keep it going and make it worse. So boss it around in a funny way. Like, think about it kind of in a playful, silly way. Like, think about something like, knock it off. There's no emergency here. I'm just going to school. I'm just driving a car. I'm just asking this person out on a date. Whatever happens is totally fine. This is not a life-ending situation. This is not an emergency. This is just me being nervous and fluttery about the thing that I need to do, and I don't need you here. I don't need you to come with me to school. I'm busy. I don't have time for you to do this stuff. So that's kind of a way to boss it around, but not in an angry way, I don't have time for this. I'm busy. Go away. I don't need you. This is not an emergency, like that kind of a thing. So we don't want anxiety controlling us. We need to learn how to manage and control our anxiety and put it kind of in its place. And the more that we go do these things that are anxiety producing, and we talk to our anxiety and show it that there's nothing to worry about here. There's nothing going on here that's unsafe. Getting in this elevator is totally fine. Yes, that 0.1% chances of people that get trapped in elevators, even when they do, they still get out. People come and rescue them, and there's nothing has gone wrong. Like they can just, you will handle it no matter what happens. And the more you do these things that your brain is telling you are so dangerous and such an emergency, and you show them that it's not an emergency, you're handling it, you're going about it, it actually rewires your brain to stop worrying about those things. And so that's why we really need to get you out there doing the things, because that's what rewires your brain to show your brain that there's nothing to worry about. Now, this part I'm talking to the parents because, or anybody that is supervising kids. The teen, the child is the one that needs to be in charge of talking to the anxiety. Now, like I said, when it's new, you need to teach it and role model it and show them how to do it. But once you've role modeled it and showed them, then you will be supporting and coaching them in doing it themselves. And then they will be the ones that are doing it on their own. Because these tactics that we're going to be talking about in these solo episodes that I'm going to do for a while, these have to be done internally with the person who's experiencing the anxiety, because we are raising our children and my clients and all, the students at your school or whatever. You're helping them to become independent people who can do these things on their own. And so if you're constantly doing it for them or taking away things that are challenging and anxiety producing from them so that they don't have to do it, they're not ever going to learn how to manage their anxiety. And at some point, you need to stop reassuring and comforting your child, telling them that, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. You don't have to go to that, or you don't have to experience that, because that just tells their brain and tells them that they can't handle anxiety and that they can't do anything about it, and that it's going to control their life and it's going to control your life. So when they ask questions about, well, I don't want to go to school because I'm too anxious about it, say something like, that sounds like your anxiety talking. Let's talk to your anxiety and see what they need, and how can we help your anxiety understand that school is important? Or how can we help your anxiety understand that you need to learn to drive a car, and that you need to sometimes ask people out on dates because that's how you experience romantic relationships? Or you need to tell the teacher that this is an uncomfortable situation for you, and we need to figure out how to talk to your teacher and let's let anxiety understand that of course we're going to feel uncomfortable when we do it, but we're going to do it anyway. Of course, if you have been taking all the challenges away from your child so far and not making them do anything, they're going to have a lot of resistance to this technique, because they're just going to want you to take care of it because you've been taking care of it, and they're going to get mad at you, and they're probably going to threaten and throw fits and have a lot of problems and anger because you're not taking care of this for them. But the more, again, that you practice showing them how to do it themselves, support them until they can do it themselves, they're going to see that they can handle anxiety. All the things that maybe have happened before, those things can all be turned around with time and practice and consistency, and just remaining calm, like not getting upset when they get upset. I totally understand. I know I have been taking things for you so that you don't have to deal with it, but I'm not going to do that anymore, because I realize that it's very important for you to deal with these challenges and handle things on your own. I want to help you do that because I want you to have this amazing adult life. And we can't do all the amazing things in our adult life if we don't know how to feel uncomfortable and go forward. So I'm going to help you. I understand that you feel uncomfortable. I understand that this isn't fun sometimes to do these things. I don't like them either, but I'm going to do this with you. I'm going to help you and support you to go forward and do the things that you're uncomfortable about. And when you do that, the worry is going to get manageable for you and for them. And they're going to be able to do so many amazing things that they aren't doing right now because they've been crippled by this. They have allowed anxiety to take a lot of things away from them, and they really think they can't handle it. And maybe you think they can't handle it. Maybe you can't handle it. So you do need to be looking at your own anxiety as well and your own responses to anxiety, and use these same techniques. Yes, they're great to teach children and teens in a easier way to handle things, but you can use these techniques too. I think I've been using some of these my whole life and I didn't realize they were techniques. I just made them up. And I'm not saying I made these things up because this is from the book that I read, but I was already teaching this personifying or talking to your worry. And I think it is something that I kind of just did in my life and didn't realize I was doing. I can't wait to hear from you about how this is helping you. So if you had started with the expect to worry and you were kind of teaching that over the past couple of weeks, now start having your child or teen talk back to their worry and make it a character, maybe draw the character, maybe even create the character depending on what kind of art skills you have or they have. Maybe make it on the computer, have AI make it. I don't know. Like, it could be so fun to make the character. And I had my students and clients, if they want to, if they're an artistic person and it's fun for them, create that character. Let's look at what they look like. Let's name them. And then maybe that you put that character on their wall or put it on the refrigerator, or maybe they have it in their backpack so that they can think about, okay, they're taking anxiety with them and it's totally fine. And they can talk to anxiety and maybe they could look at it like they're helping anxiety to feel better, just like they would help a toddler or a child to feel better if they were in an uncomfortable situation. And if you're interested in working on this with me as a parent, sign up for the parent group. I'll talk to you soon.